We're talking Kansas City Monarchs today, so stick around. Matt, welcome back to the Super Design Ball. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Thanks for having me back again. How's it going?
Pretty good. Crazy week, crazy day, but not that dissimilar to everybody else who's working from home.
It feels like a Friday today, which is like kind of the first time that's happened in a while with like working from home. Every day feels like the same, but today has felt like a Friday all week. If that makes any sense at all.
No, last week I was grinding so hard that when Friday came, I was worthless. I couldn't get anything done. And I think at that point you just have to just stop what you're doing. Just stop.
Just got to take the
Yeah. Do you have since everyone's working from home now, I'm curious, my 5-year-old interrupts me throughout the day, which is great, but also not great for productivity. Is that happening to you?
We've got a pretty good system in our household where, everybody's
on your child up in the basement.
Everybody's on the up and up as far as like what's like who's doing what. I've also got little things that I put on my office door.
Oh, really? You have a do not disturb sign?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Well, that's nice. That's a nice tip. So speaking of do not disturb, let's get disturbed right now with Britt and Jason. Hello, welcome to Super Design Bowl, guys, fellas, ladies, and gentlemen, all those things.
What's up, y'all?
Awesome. Thanks a lot for. So you guys worked on the Kansas City Monarchs. I should announce that, which is something I was really kind of excited to do. We don't need another Rams logo out there. So I love the history of baseball, and just that it's really the history of America, and the Monarchs had so much to do with that, and so this was really kind of exciting for me. But let me introduce you guys. Jason Craig, welcome to the show. I'll start with you for whatever reason. Give us a little bit of your story. Where are you fighting out of these days?
Augusta, Georgia. So I'm down here, same state as Britt, just other side, second largest city. I like to hang out over here in Augusta and just kind of play it low key. Originally from
college there, or is that's just where they play golf?
Well, we got Augusta University, but we just play golf. But like our Augusta University is like NCAA championship D1 a couple years in a row, and
D1?
Yeah, they compete D1 in golf. Yeah.
Oh, in golf,
not everything. No, but yeah, but Augusta's cool. It's real chill over here.
Okay, so that's like, is it almost? It's just like North Florida. Is that?
No. It's like South Carolina, like border.
Oh, South Carolina. Oh, that way. Okay, yeah. Cool. I don't think I've ever even been to Georgia.
Really?
You get to Georgia a lot, Matt?
I lived there for 7 years.
Oh,
so,
you
did? I got to experience a lot of it. I go back once or twice a year. I mean, really? Non-pandemic times.
Before we came on, Jason, you were telling me that you actually grew up in Illinois.
I did. That's correct. Yeah, Cubs fan.
So a Cubs fan. So you're, but half your life has been in Georgia.
Correct.
You feel like more of a Midwesterner or a Southerner?
I have the best of both worlds. Like I got the hard working ethic of the Midwestern in me, but then I'm laid back like a Southerner. So I get both.
So you do a lot of speaking gigs. Am I wrong about that?
I do. Okay. Yeah. I run my mouth a lot.
So how did you get into that gig? How'd you
I just started. Well, first of all, I've been a designer for like 24 years, and only like maybe a decade ago, I realized that we got together and talked about it. I didn't think it was anything that was that like spectacular. I just something I could do. And then I started going to design conferences, and I was like, man, all this stuff they're saying is bullshit. And I was like, I assumed everybody thought it was bullshit. And I looked to the left of me and I looked to the right, and these people like feverishly writing notes down.
Man,
You know?
I am
was like,
so on board with you with that
I was
stuff,
like,
because I'm so
the
cynical
recipe.
about like pep talks and that. It's just kind of bullshit. Just like
it is.
Yeah.
And so I felt like there was like this like need for a voice that somebody to get up there and just talk a little bit realer than what was getting said. And so I started talking at conferences and basically just talking about shitty jobs I got fired from and just non-glamorous stuff, like upward climb. And that's actually how me and Matt met. He caught my talk at Creative South, and then I went and spoke at Crop, and we've been friends ever since. But I've met a ton of people. That's how I met Britt, through at TopCon. I spoke, and then I've spoke at so many conferences. Now they just get me to MC the thing because it's like I don't really have anything new to talk about.
How do you get started? Because I've done a few talks, but I've never gone full hog on the trying to be a talker or trying to get people to, bring me to their con.
Right. Well, I mean, part of it is just it's like there was one year I did 6 conferences in the same year, and it gets a little heavy at a time. But I started doing other stuff too. I started talking at colleges and spoke to like the Rotary Club and the Kiwanis Club. Yeah, just anybody that would let me talk. And it's funny because if you've got a good message, you can tell it to anybody. So that's kind of what I go for. But I do some like ad-fed luncheons and all kinds of stuff. And I mean, I don't know. I just kind of let my talk evolve, and it seems like people are entertained by it. At least I don't know what I'm talking about. I just somehow get to be the one that gets free lunch and talks to,
It's a gift though. I mean, I think obviously Aaron Draplin is sort of the king of it.
Yeah.
Right. And if you've ever seen his talk, you get it. You understand why he's sort of the top dog in the design talk. Well, part of it too is that like I refuse to stand behind a podium when I talk. Yeah. And so it's really weird when I'm not here to just critique design conferences or speakers, but it's like you'll be talking to somebody backstage and they'll be fascinating. Be like, this guy's the most interesting person I've ever met. I can't wait to hear this person talk. And then the mic comes on and the spotlight hits them and they just clam up behind a thing. They're like, and then Jack White called me, and Jack White had me do 3 comps for his album, and none of them got used, but here they are. Well, and it's like, dude, you're telling me the most interesting story I've ever heard, and they're like, well, but that was just to you. I was like, well, just talk to an audience like it's just to them, just the Venn diagram of good public speaker and good graphic designer is a rare one. It is because most of us are just really comfortable sitting behind our desk. Yeah. Pushing pixels around. I mean, I can't even imagine what it'd be like if I had work people actually wanted to see. I mean, if I combine like speaking skills with actual work people gives a shit about, I'd be Aaron Draplin. Oh, speaking of design conferences, Britt Davis, that's where we met maybe 3 years ago, because we had a mutual friend with Fraser Davidson.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear your story. If you don't mind.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in the South. I'm from North Carolina originally. Went to school there, grew up there, like everything. And then after a short internship in New York, I determined that I would remain a Southerner. That was too much for me. So after I did that, I came back to North Carolina, finished up grad school, and then moved to Georgia. So I'm in Atlanta right now. And
wait, you're a designer with a master's?
No, so oh yes, I have a master's. Yes, I have an MFA. Yeah, so I wanted to teach. I got my first job at a university, and I got to work with a lot of students. And I was like, I think I want to teach one day. And to teach, usually you have to have an MFA. So I went to school, and it was expensive. I don't regret it, but man, those student loans, man, those student loans are no joke.
Yeah,
But
you're talking to a designer. I don't even have an associate's degree. I dropped out before I even finished my 2-year.
And still got
Nice.
skills. So I'm just like, what was I thinking? My parents are really proud though. I was proud of myself too.
I'm proud. I'm proud of you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's impressive. You don't really meet a lot of designers with master's degrees, honestly.
Yeah, it was just to teach. Yeah, mostly just to get into teaching.
That's cool. But correct me if I'm wrong. You're not teaching.
No, not right now. I mean, I did use my master's to kind of help with some negotiations for jobs. So that was it worked out. It balanced, but it's down the road. I haven't given up on my dream to touch the young minds.
I teach. I actually teach during the nights on Monday nights at the Chicago Portfolio School. So I'm doing both. Yeah, listen. If you ever want to teach something at the Chicago Portfolio School, I told this to Matt already. I just teach on Zoom. So if you want to teach, I'll hook you up with a job. You don't need a master's degree for that job though. You don't need nothing.
Just strong Wi-Fi and a
there you go.
But right now you're with the Jesus Christ. My brain went blank. Where are you working at now?
So I'm working with Atlanta, A&B Sports and Entertainment. So that's Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta United, and Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So I'm one of the in-house designers for that team, those teams.
Would you say it's like mostly Falcons, or is it like 30-70? How do you?
So I'm part of shared services. So I do I dabble in all equally, but my main focus is for the last maybe year and a half or so has been like retail and activation type stuff, content creation. So I work a lot with our digital teams. So because that's where I'm most comfortable. So that's where I've been mostly the last year and a half. And then before it was just anything and everything they needed us to do.
When you had your internship in New York, was that with Todd? Or
no, so that was actually with Viacom. So I was working at Spike TV, now the Paramount Network, I think it's called. But I met Todd that spring before I went to New York, because that was my second year of grad school.
I should say Todd Radham. Is that
so he Radham. It's cool. The Todd father.
Radham.
Yeah, but I connected with him before I got there, just asking him some questions about my thesis that I was working on at the time, and that I was getting ready to move up there. And he said, yeah, when you get up there, just, here's my information, like look me up. And I gave it a couple weeks. Then I got up there and he's like, yeah, we'll meet up. We'll go have pizza and I'll show you around these places. Check out, the portfolio, listen to the basis of your thesis. And we've been tight ever since.
He's a great guy. He's for someone who has so much experience, I met him and he was like, he's not like a gatekeeper. He's welcoming to everybody. It seems.
Oh yeah, very welcoming. Like so knowledgeable. I mean, he's got access. He knows everybody. Everyone knows him, and he's so willing to share, which is, awesome when you're trying to break into any industry. So
speaking of thesis, that I heard the reason I called you for this matchup is I heard that part of your thesis was Negro League history stuff. Is that accurate?
That is true. That is correct.
Okay, awesome. So I did my research and I was like, okay, I need someone that knows what they're doing with this. I just didn't want a couple of schmucks that look like me working on this. Would that be cool? Right. So I loved it. Let's maybe we can talk about that a little bit while we talk about the matchup. So let's check out the matchup, which was really awesome.
I really like this one.
Yeah, what'd you think, Matt?
I mean, I'm friends and fans of both Britt and Jason, so it's kind of it's like picking your favorite kid or your favorite pet. Say favorites. Like I just love the direction that they both went. It was like equally different, but like equally exciting and something that like I would love to see on. I love all the touch points that sports branding can live on. So, you know, like I immediately saw these and was like, oh shit, that would look rad on a jersey. That would be a cool patch for a hat, you know. I don't know, that kind of stuff excites me.
So when you guys are you know, let's just talk about the sort of the history of the Monarchs a little bit. So the Monarchs, for those that don't know, and I should let Britt tell you about this, is, you know, the sort of the most storied, most champions in the Negro League histories, right?
Jackie Robinson was with them. Like, I mean, they're
Yeah,
one
Jackie
of the first.
Robinson,
And yeah.
Satchel Paige, and was Bucky O'Neill, Buck O'Neill,
Buck O'Neill. Yeah.
Buck O'Neill. Yeah. So those are probably the three biggest names from the Kansas City Monarchs. So this is sort of an era of their it was actually kind of hard finding sort of the history of their logos and stuff like that when I was doing research. Did you guys encounter any of that? Or
Man, just outside of those quick Google searches, I did after I did some sketches because I'm trying to get out of the habit of Googling things before I start a project, but and just trying to remember stuff from like my thesis research. But
yeah,
you'll see a lot of different official marks.
Official, yeah, you will. I mean, they were around for since the 20s to the 60s. This was one of their sort of I think there was a 50s uniform, which I think is dope. I love the giant KC.
Yeah,
and you can see
I like the placement of that patch on like the like that's I don't even know what. Yeah, right there. Like that's a cool placement for another patch. I mean, I know we have those little like locker tags on them now, but they don't look like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It says Heritage Collection, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was like one of the anniversary patches, either for the Negro Leagues or for the team. I can't remember.
Is there anything? Here's Jackie Robinson. Is there anything better than vintage baseball photos? I just love old timey baseball photos. There's just something so great about them, and I love old timey hats too. They don't make hats.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those unstructured hats they wore.
Yeah.
I love the evolution of like all of it, you know, from the way the pants fit to the way the mitts used to look, and yeah, like the hats. I mean, I couldn't imagine wearing one of those hats now, you know, like.
Could you imagine wearing a wool? Could you imagine wearing a wool uniform in July in Kansas City and playing baseball during the day?
With a long sleeve undershirt on. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Imagine.
Oh my God.
Imagine if you got a basketball uniform and they handed you pants and a belt.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, they didn't have elastic, man.
Yeah.
So here's Satchel Paige. I love the hat with the big KC on it with the stripes. That's a great look. And then they had this KC. I'm not sure if you can see it. It was like a KC heart logo.
Mm-hmm.
That was. I think that was really nice. Sorry, skipping ahead. I did find this article on Sports Logos. Apparently, they brought the Monarchs back. Some team in Kansas City, Kansas.
The T-Pens
changing their name in association with the museum, the Negro League Museum, in Kansas City. So it was kind of interesting. There's another old picture. It's actually a pretty nice mark, but that just happened in January. But this is sort of where, you know, there's lots of, you know, it had the heart logo, it had the giant KC, but this is sort of, I think, recognized as the main mark. Maybe you can correct me, Britt.
It's one of their I don't know if it's the main mark or not, but I think like that's the one that my dad used to wear on his like all his old Negro League collection stuff. That's the one I used to see all the time.
Yeah, let me ask you guys this question. Let me get a show of hands. I don't own any like Negro League caps or anything like that because I'm a little worried about like is it okay for me to wear like a Grays hat? Is that okay? Is that not cool?
Oh yeah, I mean,
is it cool?
Totally. Like baseball, you know, it's part of that American culture of sports, right? And you know, anytime you're really showing appreciation of something, you're respecting it, you're just, rocking with it, it's cool. Like,
Okay.
I'm from North Carolina, I live in Georgia. But like I have a Yankees hat, and that's just because my dad's from up there, and it's also like our family team. But no one's gonna look at me and be like, you can't wear the hat because you're not from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as a Chicago guy, I can't wear New York stuff.
Well, yeah.
See, I was gonna say, Billy, I don't think it matters what you wear, but if you got a Seahawks jersey on or something, and they just won the Super Bowl, you better at least know some players' names, because that's worse. Just to be a bandwagon fan.
Yeah.
Right.
Suddenly
That's
everybody's
worse.
got on Tampa gear, and it's
Yeah,
name two players other than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Oh, so unfortunately in this game, there's winners. And then we have you, Jason.
Yeah, loser.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah. I needed an L though. That's one of the few things I don't have a lot of. So I needed that. It'll humble me.
It's gonna ground you a little bit.
Yeah, it'll bring me back down to earth.
A little bit back down to earth.
Uh-huh.
But seriously though, this was a really cool and interesting and bold exploration, and I can't wait to get into to hear your process here a little bit. I mean, I dig it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I hate to lose the voting, but it's okay.
How competitive are you? Was it sort of a real? Were you?
No, to lose to Britt's fine. I mean, I'd hate to lose to a fucking intern or something, but
or Aaron Draplin.
Or Aaron Draplin. But I mean, no, she did a great mark. So I mean, as soon as it came out, I was like, fuck. But part of it too is like I try to make stuff that if somebody asked me to make the exact same thing for them, I wouldn't mind doing it. So that was kind of the process. But really, it all started. I made like a KC monogram that I liked, and
let's go to this.
Yeah, I was just like, I drew it, and
you're talking about just this part of it.
Yeah, so I did that, and I was like, if I felt like that would carry the whole thing, I would have just posted that. But I was like, no, I want to do something cool. I want to do a character or something. And so, I mean, it was just a chance for me to do something. And from the era that they were from, like those old baseball pictures, they're always in like real old timey poses, like, so I was like a picture with a big leg kick. Yeah. And then it was just like ran with that monarch, like king crown theme.
Yeah, if you go back to this, I mean, even on this, it's got the attitude.
Yeah, and I sampled that crown off of something that I found of theirs, and I can't remember what it was, but I mean, there was a crown like that on something that they had, and so I kind of I took it from that. But yeah, it was just kind of like this like regal looking, real kind of stodgy king, kind of an asshole. Like this looks like the guy's going to bean you with the ball.
Totally. Yeah, he's totally got attitude. He's
that mustache afterwards.
Right. Yeah, he's got like a ball that's been hit like 20 times. It weighs 5 pounds. It's waterlogged. He's about to throw it like right at your like upper 90. So
yeah, I love that about it.
Yeah. So that was kind of the thought. And then I just played around a lot with different like, line weights and colors and I wanted to use like the purple and gold and red.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of those old, like you can see that St. Louis thing. I'm a big fan of those old All-Star game logos that were just crazy. Like, it was like if you asked somebody today to make a logo for the All-Star game, they would look nothing like those at all. Yeah. And those are just awesome. And I wanted to kind of
do you start on paper like this?
Yeah. So I actually had an envelope. I had a bill that I drew about 100 things on sitting there, and I couldn't find it. But yeah, that was the winner that I decided to make. But that's the sketch right there. Cool. So you can see that beautiful foot kicked out there. It looks like a hot dog hammer.
Let me ask you a question. If this was intentional or not, but to me, it gives me the impression of a K.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it like the general like yeah, I mean you can look right side by side. The general composition is the same as that KC right next to it. I mean that was kind of
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
feeling.
Totally.
So yeah, that is it's on purpose.
Cool. Cool. I'm picking up.
I-
I always see an L here. Is that's not a?
No,
Yeah. Sorry.
that's just
That's not a critique. I'm just
yeah.
making sure I'm seeing what I'm supposed to be seeing.
Yeah. But I mean, I played around with trying to put different, like putting that KC on that blank space, but it just made it too busy. There's just too much going on. Yeah. There's just too much to accept. Plus, it was kind of reversed. It was like the M and then the KC was weird to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I
really like the way his head looks. Yeah, just that head icon is super sharp. That'd look great on a hat.
Yeah, totally.
I want my hat. I keep saying it every time. I want my hat.
I got to find a good patch vendor.
Yeah, that was this looked like a logo you actually just had a lot of fun with.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then I went back and forth with like, should I put like a container behind him, like a little badge, and I finally settled on sort of like a base, like a sort of shield mixed with like a base. Yeah,
I didn't think about it as a base as a shield. That works really well for a Monarch.
It's got that nice herald kind of feeling. I also like that you stayed true to like old school baseball clothes being uncomfortable, and you put this dude in like a big kingly robe.
Yeah,
you know, he's out there on the mound in a thick, heavy ass robe, kicking his leg up higher than any of us can probably do.
Yeah, the striped sock. Yeah.
So you strayed from the color scheme of their their traditional sort of red and navy. Was that just like, well, I should do a royal purple because it's obviously
no, I wanted to go full in like as royal as possible with like the purple and gold. I mean, that was one of the things I wanted to do from the very start.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think it's smart. I personally hate purple, but this purple, it's like a dark, deep purple. I can definitely get behind that. Are you guys pro purple, anti purple in general?
It was my favorite color growing up.
Really?
I'm more red. I love red.
I have a hard time with purple, man. I don't know.
I went to school at a school whose colors were purple and gold for 8 years. I did not get my master's during that time. I just spent a really long time trying to get the first degree. So I got my fill of purple and gold for a while. It's not that bad now, like that I'm 10 or so years removed from it. But yeah.
But if you would have stuck with this purple, the Lakers. This is sort of the Lakers.
The Lakers, yeah.
Lakers purple, which I cannot.
Yeah. It was a little too high school team for me.
Yeah. Oh man.
And another thing too is I was kind of going almost for like a flat like playing card look too with it.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like King of. So I actually had one where I put King of Diamonds on there somewhere. Like it might not have made it onto that sheet, but I made a King of Diamonds type treatment that I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, and you could totally do a flip this guy to do sort of card layout, which would have been really cool.
Yeah,
I think after I saw the Instagram post with all the other pieces, like I love the first one just by itself, but then seeing the whole system and like you can make patterns out of these things.
Yeah,
you can have all these secondary more. Like I love stuff like that.
That's the tough thing about the site, is you just get one image, because I didn't want like first I did people are obviously doing this for free, and so I don't want to say, well, I want a whole branding system for
right,
which would be ridiculous. But also I didn't want to be like, it would be unfair if somebody did 12 pages of stuff and the other person just did a logo. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just trying to keep it fair, I guess.
And the other thing, I mean, it's not like I mean, to me, like a lot of times I think in terms of a system. And so it takes some of the heavy lifting off of any one piece whenever you've got a lot of support to go with it.
Absolutely. let's hang a right over here. So I really like what you did with the negative space on this, and I think that's where it really shines on this one. But I'd love to hear your thought process.
Yeah, so I realized this morning, or when I sat down, that I didn't hit send on my email to send over the sketches and the other stuff. So it might be in your inbox, but
okay.
But like,
let me
like,
do that. You guys chat while I try to find this email.
Yeah. Oh.
But I like logo wise, like I don't know, I've always just for my personal style, like just really clean, like 1 to 2 elements. But I always admire like the folks like Jason who can like bring in different elements and like actually make it work and feel balanced. Whenever I try to do it, it starts to look like a hot mess, and so I just always end up trying to scale back and just see like what element can I really call out within the piece. I don't know, I've just always been like that. Illustrations and other stuff, I can be more playful, but with logos, it's always like 1 or 2 cool elements and like that's it.
Yeah. I'm naturally like a huge fan of badges, so I feel like you taking the badge approach for this is like, right, checked a lot of boxes for me. It's like really, it's just balance. It's got like the right amount of like, everything, like it's got some tension, but it's got like, it's great. And like Billy was saying, I think the negative space is really rad. How you incorporated the crown into the M, and then how it gets into the baseball diamond. So this is really interesting seeing these seeing these sketches as well.
And I think too with the sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I kind of like the one without the diamond up here too, like even boil it down to its essence. That's a cool idea too. This is all cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but like a lot of it, like with the badge, kind of came from when I was doing my thesis. It was all about how nostalgia works within the athletic aesthetic. So how it's used in good ways and bad ways. Like some people just throw some grit on it and say instant nostalgia, and some people have certain typefaces that they use to kind of evoke nostalgia. But the whole idea of the thesis was how do you dig a little bit deeper for the emotional connections and how that starts to drive the visuals and the connection of the logo to an experience. So like those patches was like naturally something you see a lot in sports, especially in baseball, because a lot of that foundation of what I got into or why I got into sports design was from baseball. Even though I didn't really grow up watching it a lot, I was always in tune to the visuals of it. The uniforms are always my favorite. Whenever I did get jerseys from my dad, they were always baseball jerseys, baseball caps that I would wear. So it just came with like this fascination with their look, their logos, uniforms, everything. So I just wanted to tie it back to what I was doing with this mark.
I think it looks legit.
Like when you said legit, like I feel like your mark, Britt, like if you replaced on the Wikipedia page yours with the real one, I don't think anybody would even question it. They just assume that was really their logo.
Will that be dope? Like, maybe we can kind of connect with the Negro League Museum and just like drop a collection. It's like the old school, new vibe, Monarchs remix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think too, like there's like I always like. Like sometimes there's like design that it feels like it actually was discovered, and that if you showed it to every designer, we would all agree is like, no, that's the way to do it. And that crown on that M is like, I guarantee once you show that to everybody, that's like everybody would say, okay, that's how you have to start, is the crown inside the M like that, and there's no other way.
Yeah, I'm always really fascinated by characters that like I've drawn a lot of. Like naturally, I've written an M probably in the hundreds of thousands of times like throughout my life, and seeing a different approach to it, especially like a creative identity driven approach to it, it's always really exciting. And there are some letters, like I love the letter M, not because it's my name, but like just like the balance of it and the symmetry, like it's not like R or something. Like it's but yeah, the way you handled this is really, really sharp.
Appreciate it.
The visual, I don't know, I'm going to call it a pun. I'm not sure the best way to talk about this, but obviously in the center of the crown is a diamond, and it's a baseball diamond. So like just that it's like a duh. Like it's like such a good idea, thought out idea, that it's like, well, why didn't everybody think of doing that? You know?
But now that it's been done, you will see it. Somebody is going to do a logo with a crown on an M, and you'll be like, I did that. I found that.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
For sure.
This is cool. So have you thought about photoshopping this on some old uniforms yet?
I haven't. I have been trying to scout quotes for a hat.
Yeah.
Because I did have some patches made with my thesis project, but they were terrible, and I had to like glue them onto some hats that I bought.
Yeah.
But if I do that with this, I'd like to, actually do it right.
We had one participant make merch out of his thing. There's obviously a legal issue with that.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's still cool. Like, who cares? In sort of a punk rock narrative, just make it, and he's just selling it and just waiting for the cease and desist. That
you just
never come.
Just take it off your site. Monday to Friday, you just take it down off your site and just sell it on the weekends, and they'll never catch you. Lawyers don't work Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
I never heard that.
Okay.
That strategy. That sounds genius. Brilliant. So are you do you start in paper, or are you straight to you work your ideas out on the?
Yeah, I always sketch on paper first. I don't know if the sketch came through, but I have a sketchbook.
Right.
I've been trying to go digital, like with my iPad, but I still prefer paper. And I usually sketch, 3 to 5 things. I try to. But once something clicks, that's when I go immediately to the computer and just start kind of working away, and then usually other things start to evolve from what I'm playing with on the computer.
If my first sketch is, if I like my first sketch, I stop. What about you guys? Do you force yourself to keep going, or do you just, or if you like one sketch, or you just go, okay, that's the one?
It depends on how good it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a handful of factors that come into play, but I mean, it is nice whenever you know it, like whenever you see it, and you're just like, all right, it's not gonna get any better than this. This is it.
I think I don't have patience.
Yeah. I'm not a sketcher, so.
You're not a sketcher?
I mean, I could probably count on both hands how many times I've started a project over the last 12 years, and it was on paper. And people always think I'm a maniac for doing that. Like, I think I've always had jobs where like everything was so fast paced that like I never had time for like deep ideation. Like, things had to happen in my head during meetings or like conversations about it. So then like by the time I'm ready to start it, I'm ready to start it, Yeah.
So overall, the conversations we've had so far on the show, almost everybody is a paper or a Procreate. It's amazing how much Procreate is sort of taking over with the iPad.
I still draw on paper without Procreate. I mean, before I do Procreate whenever I use it, but I just take a picture of what I drew with my pencil. But I tend to sketch because my thing is like, I always feel like it's like traveling down a road and you just don't know what town's coming up next, with sketching. And I just sketch and sketch and sketch until I'm in a shitty town I don't want to be in, and then I back up. and that's kind of how I look at it. Yeah. And so then I kind of go back and revisit. And a lot of times it's like I mean, especially with like logos for companies, it's a simpler version of something that I'll go back to, and I'll be like, this like second or third thing that I did has a little piece that's good. And like, I'll do pages of sketches. And I'll be like, this one little piece though, like the M with the crown is like, that's it. That's something, so other times, like what I did here, I just force some idea that I just want to do.
Yeah. Well, when you're your own client, it's like, you don't have to jump through any hoops either. But I mean, and that's one of my biggest issues, this idea that we have to show clients 3 or 4 ideas, and sometimes I really love one idea, but those 2 or 3 other ideas are just to fill a box. You know what I mean? And
they always end up picking the
yeah,
ones you do that you don't want.
they seem
So
to, yeah. But like, if I could just instead of dividing my time between 4 ideas, if I could just spend all my time making one idea amazing,
yeah,
I always feel like it's going to be better. But not always, I guess. But
I've really changed the way that I work this past year because of COVID, and really those crappy sketches are what I present to clients now. And so I'll make a sheet and I'll pare it down to just the few that I think have potential, and that's what I show them. And I mean, I've shown some really crappy sketches, and I haven't had a problem with it.
Do you show like style with it? Like, okay,
No.
this is my shitty sketch. Here's how it would execute, kind of like this.
No.
Really?
And the reason, and I got talked out of that. I started doing it, and somebody talked me out of it. They're like, they saw your Instagram, they saw your website, they know what your stuff looks like. You don't need to show them that. And it's true. It's true. Like a lot of times, like today, I had a call where there was drastic changes made to something, and it's no big deal because they were just sketches. It's, I got an eraser right here.
Yeah. I keep my sketches loose too, because that actually gives me the freedom to change things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now I will say I do pair. I make like a mood board so I understand like what tone they want to go for. But yeah, as far as concept goes, you can't, if you don't have a concept, it doesn't matter how good you can draw if you don't have a concept. So
and Britt, how does that work when you're more like in-house somewhere? When you are like, are you just, who do you have to present to? Are there still suits you got to present to?
Yeah. So even though I like to sketch, we eventually have to take those sketches and try to at least do a black and white comp in Illustrator. Just because of like the time that they're going to be looking at, they're going to scan it for like a couple of seconds, and they may not have enough time to really deep dive in it.
Who's they?
Any higher ups that might be looking at it. So a director, the client that brought the project to us. It's a range of folks. So taking something like a sketch just means it's going to take more time to really explain it. But if you put, something a little bit more refined in front of them, they'll usually get it a little bit quicker. Having to kind of work a lot fast, like what Matt was saying, you almost get to the point where you don't have time to sketch, but I still always like to make time to do it. I just have to shave off of that sketch time and then push more time into getting it set up in Illustrator. But if we're doing more stuff internally, where the designers are going to be kind of digging at it first, then I can always they'll understand the sketch. I can do something really rough, be it text, illustration, logo, whatever.
Yeah.
And my peers are going to get it and say, that one or that one. And then we'll take that and put it in Illustrator.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have a specific way to present, or is it all client based, like depending on who the client is?
Well, I mean, first, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't just, get on Illustrator and do the idea. Like the artboard is like my sketch pad, that the San Francisco thing. I can't tell you how many SF monograms like I've got on like that artboard. It's like those are my sketches.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the same thing that Jason was talking about. Like you go back and you look at like this 17th one over that's slightly different from the 8th one, and like you find something that works in there. But as far as presenting, I mean, like I don't know if this is good or bad. It hasn't really failed me yet, but like I get about 90% there before presenting. Like I've got the concepts executed. I've got all of the not bullshit, but all the jargon that you need to say to sell it. I've got the excitement. I've got the excitement dialed in, the art school speak, and I've got everything mocked up. And it's very rarely failed me. Like maybe once or twice going that route. And and maybe I'm just lucky, or maybe like I've dialed in like my particular system, what works for me, because that probably wouldn't work for other people.
No, you're also a good designer. That helps.
Well, in a world of design,
let's be real, Matt. You got the skills to pay the bills. So that's going to help your presentation a lot. Yeah. I think, it all depends for us what the client is. Like if it's a client that we think can understand sketches, then it's going loose sketches, especially if it's a long-term client. If it's a long-term client, I can show back of the napkin stuff and be like, and they trust me, and they trust their system, and they understand how it works.
Awesome.
But maybe if it's a new client that we've never worked before, maybe we will go more Matt's route.
But see, that's part of why I did it, because I was doing a lot of like t-shirt designs, and I was like, man, if this person I've never met and I don't know what they like, and I'm not going to meet them in person to get a read of them, if I do a full fleshed out design and they don't like it, then I just have to start over. And it's like, it's COVID. I lost all my work. I can't do things twice. I'm lucky to do them once.
Yeah.
And so that's really how it started. So it's like, we're going to get this here. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to make it for you. Here's your bill. But I saw the effectiveness it had with clients. And yeah, you're right. Different clients have different imagination. And so you are going to have to like really do some other work with it. But yeah, I think that, if you're talking about, my logo is going to be a C with a bear inside of it, you could probably sketch that pretty loosely to get that across.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting is transition this a little bit into talking with long-term clients and Britt, the same, you probably work with the same people day in, day out. Sometimes I get a little too comfortable with my clients, and that causes problems too. I don't know if I'm a little too honest with them sometimes. Does that ever happen with you guys, or am I just the only asshole here? Like if they come to us an idea and I'm like, that's I'll just straight up tell them that's a stupid idea. You should do this, and sometimes they're not too happy about that. I'm finding out.
I might word it different, but I understand.
Yeah. I don't know. I got to work on my tact.
Well, it just goes. It's the right way, the wrong way, and the client's way. And sometimes sometimes I just write stuff. It's like, this is a client's way thing. Yeah. Which takes a lot of stress off, because now that you know exactly what they want, it's just a race to the finish. And so it's like, all right, that's how they want it. Let's do this. I can be done by 5.
I think sometimes it happens when like they think I'm saying these things because it wasn't my idea or something, or it's an ego thing. But really, it's just like I just want to do the best work that we can. Let's just do the best ideas. That's really all it is.
Well, like it's our job to give them the best solution based on like our expertise. Like I often get like a follow-up email after I've posted like a concept that didn't make it. If I post something on Instagram or Dribble, Dribble's a lie. I never mess with Dribble. But if I post something, a concept, and they'll be like, hey man, like why didn't you post the final? And I'm like, well, because you walked in the kitchen, you stuck your finger in my sauce and you licked all the sauce off your finger, and like I didn't really want to serve that. Like it's if you want to shower in your kitchen, I'm good. Like as a contractor, I would probably be like, no, you probably shouldn't do that. But if ultimately that's what the client wants, it's just like, oh, shit, put a shower in the kitchen, like whatever. It's not going on the website. It's not going on our portfolio, list of services.
That being said, I've been wrong too. I've been plenty wrong where the client comes in and I say, I don't think that's a good idea. And then we do it and it kills. And, that also happens too. Maybe that shower in the kitchen is a great idea. You just don't have the vision. I don't know.
Billy's kitchens and shower.
We need a logo for that.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. I really appreciate this talk. This was actually really interesting, and I really love and appreciated the work you guys did for the site. So thank you so much. I'm in the show's description. I will have links to your content so people can email you and ask you to do more free work.
Right. I was gonna say,
yeah. But if you want to tell people where they can find your work, if you so desire, please do so now, Jason.
If you want good work, contact Britt. If you want to just bullshit with me, Jason the 29th on Instagram, or jasonthe29th.com, or crunkfriday.com. You can get
Crunk Friday. Okay, that's another one.
Yeah.
Oh, I get to wear my shirt tomorrow. Crunk Friday. Hey.
Oh yeah, Good Friday. Crunk Good Friday.
Crunk
Will you
Good
come
Friday.
and speak at my backyard barbecue? If that.
Yeah, up in
Yeah,
Chicago,
okay.
as long as the weather's nice.
As long as the weather's nice. Well,
We can play kitten ball or whatever y'all play up there. Like
kitten
that.
ball.
Yeah, big 16-inch softball, like with no gloves.
I play that. I've played that.
What do you call
Kitten
it?
ball.
We used to call it kitten ball. What do you call it?
I don't know. We just call it 16-inch.
16-inch softball. That just rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah. That was weird. I played a lot of that. I don't have a mentality that is right for baseball or softball because I'm too on edge when I'm playing sports.
Yeah.
Like I play soccer, and that's good because in soccer you're constantly yelling.
Right.
If you're constantly yelling as a left fielder,
that's true. So Matt and Britt, if y'all don't know, in Chicago they play a version of softball where you don't have gloves, but you have a ball the size of a soccer ball.
You hit it with a bat?
You hit it with a bat. It's not the size of soccer ball. It's like
it's the size of a soccer. It's pretty big.
16-inch softball.
It's a big ass ball.
Kind of soft.
It's a big ass ball.
But in the league I played in, the girls got to wear gloves. The boys.
What kind of glove do you wear to catch something?
Yeah, like a big bird net.
It's not that big. I mean, it's
bigger
than a softball, but yeah. It's fun. If you're into that sort of thing. Yeah.
It sounds dangerous to Google. I might have. There's got to be another name for it on that.
That's what it is. We called it kitten ball, and I think that
is that only a Chicago thing? Really?
Yeah, they don't do that other way. They
Really?
they don't do that other places. They don't drink Malort other places. They don't do any of the stuff in other places.
Listen,
they don't
nobody
on hot
really
dogs.
drinks Malort here. We just that's for tourists.
That's true. That's true. And everywhere else, they don't put all that crap on hot dogs either. That's just Chicago too.
Well, they're missing out.
It'd be like that.
I do like a slaw dog. That's a North Carolina thing.
Yeah,
Carolina style chili slaw, mustard, onions.
Yeah.
And a cheer wine.
And a cheer wine.
I love cheer wine.
Britt, where can people find you on the internet?
Britt Davis 704 on my personal, but then I also have my kind of passion project / content platform. I started with a partner called Locker Room. That's LCKR.ROOM. But we basically do illustration around sports and culture, popular events, news, just as a way to have our own little space outside of designing for somebody else.
And Matt, we're not sending anybody to your website. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we're good.
You're good.
Dang.
No, like I said, links are down below. But thanks again, everybody. I really, really, really appreciate it. And have a good. I need to come up with a tagline for leaving the show.
Yeah,
give me something, Matt. Like
yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a famous sign off. You need
to game over.
Game over. I like it. I like it. I got to come up with a game over tagline. Okay, thanks again, guys.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Later, y'all.